Well, hello, welcome to ILoveGay today. And we are with Patrick T. Cooper in Fort Lauderdale. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. I'm so glad to finally be here with you to talk about everything that's going on good in our world.
We have a lot we can talk about too, because I mean, you're a man of many talents, I would say. And that's the thing is that you and I have come to know each other over the years, and especially during COVID here, through mostly our virtual world of staying connected.
Right. Of course, our initial meeting was doing Trab Media in New York for the travel and the trade shows. And unfortunately, I haven't been back in about 2 years, but
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet you there. And then we just had awesome dialogue about where you're going, where I'm going, and about uplifting the community. So I'm just
Yeah.
excited to finally be here. I see all of the talented people that came before me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta be on I Love Gay with Matt.
You are too kind. But no, I love what you do. And I mean, not only like when we were just talking about travel and writing and so forth, but you do a lot when it comes to helping companies from all walks of life kind of just help them learn how to navigate and promote themselves in the LGBTQ world.
Right. Well, I run a very small boutique branding agency.
Yeah.
And a lot of my work and a lot of the storytelling that I've done have been in the lifestyle space and in travel.
Yeah.
And speaking now, having more permission to really speak from my perspective and write from my point of view.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible journey. So I've been behind the scenes from fashion brands to lifestyle brands and now travel brands. And as we navigate through COVID, I'm really getting into more work with CDC, the city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So it runs the gamut. So I get a chance to tell stories all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Write about it.
Well, that's the currency of media nowadays, isn't it? It's all about storytelling and all shapes and forms.
It is. I think that is yet the benefit. That's the benefit of the ebb and flow, I would say, of social media as well
Yeah.
as I think it's two things. Even
Yeah.
with us talking about the pandemic and COVID, miscommunication or misinformation can send people into an uproar.
Yeah.
I think right now we're really just trying to navigate of who are the instruments for feeding proper information,
Yeah. Yeah.
correct information. And I think, of course, social media, if you've got enough following, you can change the narrative for almost anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very important. And I think brands and customers and large corporations are taking note of that. And they are aware that no longer can you just have injustice or run amok just because you're the big dog on the block.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be conscious about what you're communicating and how you're making people feel. And I think that is again the beauty uh, of technology. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
everyone now is beginning to have a voice.
It's you're taking the words right out of my mouth. I agree with you completely. It's interesting because yeah, there were all these let's just say 7 billion plus people across the world, and they all have a different unique way of looking at the world and the thoughts they have, and yet now we get to hear from so many of them in a way that we've never heard their thoughts before, and it's like how to I think we're all still learning how to navigate that, but when it comes to companies and brands and people like yourself, um, you understand some of that, and you're able to help kind of navigate that path to getting that their voice, making sure their voice is part of those millions being heard.
Right. Well, hey, think about it like this: the LGBTQ community is ever evolving. We're
Yeah.
growing. More people are not silenced. People have permission to be themselves, and even in that, even in the growth, we still represent a minority.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
within our community, we have different sects of communities where people navigate toward people that are like them or like-minded within that. And
Yeah.
so it's not just one thing. It's not communicating to one group of individuals. And I know we discussed this about the world of travel, and oftentimes when you see, especially from my perspective, gay men's resort, the first thing that you see is someone with a 6 or 8 pack. And I don't know about you, but I don't have a six or eight pack. But it's not inclusive, right? It's not
Yeah.
including the people that may have a little belly fat or
Yeah.
that's aging.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you can't have fun. It doesn't mean you don't love life. It doesn't mean you don't have love to give. It just means you're a different body shape, and we
Yeah.
must take account of that and be accommodating for everyone and be
Yeah.
loving of everyone. And so, given that permission and given those opportunities, makes my job, makes my career joyful.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm getting a chance to, like I said, um, speak and speak from an authentic space.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, I think we're seeing that more and more. We see that more and more in terms of, and you are one of those that kind of, let's just say, for lack of a better word, straddles the old media and new media world. So you have a perspective and you see that. Because there were people, once upon a time, it was just print advertising and so forth. And so, in that realm, it was all about putting beautiful bare-chested men out there in the ads, and that's all you needed to do. But I think nowadays, I think more and more companies understand. Like, I mean, there's bears, and there's transgender community, there's lesbians, and that's just three. There's thousands of different niches within our space. And I think media and so forth has kind of it's been an evolution for them to understand that. But I feel like you've been understanding that for quite some time.
I think when we talk about it, oftentimes the word gay or homosexuality is equated to sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not focused about you being a human being.
Yeah.
And this is where I see having thorough input, being careful and cautious with your wording so that you are not alienating any one person requires work, and it requires being a global citizen. It requires being open to change and evolution. And so being an agent of that or a catalyst of change, I think that's part of being an artist as well. As an artist, I'm challenged with being fluid, being open to different viewpoints and driving that home. And so that is definitely part of my journey. Definitely part of my journey.
Well, in this new media space, I would say you're very good with video. I love your video where you're walking people through. But that ties in, not only are you strong with video, but it ties in with the other parts of your work that you do in marketing, which is you have a decorating with style. And I saw all that kind of merged and woven together.
Right. Well, that's all new. That's COVID. And I was always, of course, I love talking to people. I love communicating with you. And I know some of our communication offline was definitely a little bit more voluminous than this and full of laughter. But that process of putting yourself out there, I applaud all of this past week. We launched the podcast. I must say, I applaud all of the podcasters. I applaud all of the people that are okay with sharing their entire world on Instagram. I'm not. I'm a work in progress. So, me putting myself out there this past week with my friend Eric Green with Style Made Simple, it was a task, and I was sweating bullets. So I was not also confident. That's part of this human journey as well. When we develop confidence and we can speak about our positions, about our journeys, about our tragedies, and without speaking to those things without feeling judged, feeling petrified about being who you are. And it's okay, like you just said earlier today, we have a blip on here. It doesn't mean you scratch it all up and start over. It just means, like life, we're flawed. None of us are perfect. So I'm doing my best to just put it out there, not be so judgmental, and even as I speak about this, grant myself grace and mercy every day. And I too may make a mistake, and I may hurt someone's feelings. So if you're out there listening to this, just know that I'm coming from a place of love, right?
Again, well said. So, no, the best part is that I'm really looking forward to the next. I travel a lot, so when I'm down there in South Florida, I'm really looking forward to connecting with you in the real world here.
Well, I can say this to all my New Yorkers. I almost wore my New York Yankees hat today to salute you guys. I know you're in New York and you got your LA constituency, but I don't miss 14-degree weather. I was actually supposed to be in New York for men's the men's trade shows this past week, and I scooted out of that because they said the weather in New York was 14 degrees. And right now today it is 80 in sunny Fort Lauderdale. So I'm sure when you arrive, we can organize a few things through Visit Fort Lauderdale and have some great rosé and sit and watch the ocean.
I'd like that. So, no, mostly just thanks so much for taking a few moments of your time and sharing some of your story with our audience here.
You bet, you bet. Well, anytime. I'd love to talk more.
You got it.
So much to talk about to
I
help
know.
the individuals grow and evolve.
Well, great seeing you, and maybe we'll have another one of these to continue those conversations.
I look forward to it. Look forward to it.
Take care now.
Take care of yourself.
Feels good, so good.